Hey there, back with another Procmon bug, but this one is rampant. One flavor of it is right here, where there's data over 16 bytes, the lines that are extra long. And these, not as long. Everything after the first 16 bytes, it's all garbage. I've been using Procmon for 15 years. It's awesome, but also amazing to think this bug has been there all this time. Okay, let's delve into it. In this bug, Procmon shows garbage on the end of the registry data in the regQueryValue and regEnumValue events. It's not a bug in the capture stream or the PML file. It's a buffer overrun when displaying the data. There are three flavors of this bug. The first flavor is hard to notice because it's binary. To get the list we're looking at in Procmon, I set the filter to the two operations and reg binary. As I showed before, the bug jumps out at us everywhere the data extends beyond 16 bytes, because Procmon only ever captures 16 bytes of reg binary or reg none data. Now look at the lengths. Here the actual data was 184 bytes, yet only 16 bytes are shown, which is correct. But in the next one, it says the length is 57, and it shows 57 bytes. I'll copy the 57 bytes into Notepad so we have them handy, and I'll divide them into rows of 8. Okay, we have 56, 57. So any user will assume that 57 bytes were captured in this event, but they would be wrong because 41 of these bytes are garbage. Opening viewer 9 in the same file, we will enter a query that brings up the same list of events. When the field name is different in viewer 9, type the name you're looking for and the drop-down gives choices. The query val type field only exists for these two operations, and it will be useful. Also show length and data. Now we're looking at the same events, but in viewer 9 the reg data is never longer than 16 bytes. Going into the first event in viewer 9, we can look at where the fields are parsed from the PML file. The results binary contains the reg type, which is 3 for reg binary, the length 184, and the reg data. See that it is only 16 bytes? So in this event, Procmon has no error. Going to the next one where the bug occurs, this is the same regQueryValue operation, but it looks different. After the reg type and the length, there is another field called name. We'll come back and discuss this difference, but look at the reg data. There are only 16 bytes here. They match the first 16 in Procmon. So is viewer 9 wrong or is Procmon wrong? Viewer 9 has a way to view the raw PML file binary by clicking on the offset 160 of the last line of results. When we click here, we will see these same 8 bytes. So here are those last 8 bytes of the results, matching the second 8 bytes in Procmon. These next 8 bytes in Procmon match the next 8 bytes in the PML file. So that's where the data in Procmon is coming from. But is Procmon right? Recall that the 16 bytes ended with 4a, and the data after that starts here. I will show that this is the start of the next event. We'll put it in a notepad to remember it. Back in the event view, we see 414 is the event number. Forward to the file binary view, click on event 0 and change the address to event 415. Okay, this is the event header for the next event. See that it starts at the same place. Viewer 9 does not yet show individual fields here, but for example, I can pick out the timestamp because the tooltip displays 1601 epoch times. Look at the timestamp of the event with the bug. The next event has almost the same timestamp a tiny bit later. This timestamp in the next event header is in the garbage Procmon displayed. Now, why garbage in some events, not others? First of all, the bug only happens when the length is over 16. Otherwise, all of the data is captured and there's no buffer overrun. Focusing on these first two events again, both appear the same as far as Procmon is concerned. Let's look at viewer 9 back in the event list. The first one has query val type 2, and the second has 1. Query val type tells the format of the results, and 1 means the results contain a name. I've only seen this binary garbage when the results contain a name. The next combination of length over 16 in query val type 1 is down at the event with length 76. And sure enough, this is the next bug in Procmon. But Procmon doesn't show the name or query val type. Actually, the viewer 9 docs cover some interesting things Procmon doesn't show. But in this case, the name is not interesting because going into the length 76 event, we see name is redundant with the end of the path. But we haven't looked at reg enum value yet. And further down we see some. The format of reg query value and reg enum value are alike, but reg enum value has an index, and Procmon shows the names because it is enumerating them. The very first query enum value is index 0, and it has the bug. But the subsequent ones, index 1, 2, and on, don't. Scanning ahead, the next index 0 has the bug, followed by other indexes without the bug again. But before you think it's index 0, scan to the next one. Index 0 again has the bug, and subsequent ones have bugs too. In fact, I discovered that, as unlikely as it sounds, it is events where the name field is over 2 characters that the bug occurs. Scrolling up, we noticed that all the events after index 0 had names that were numbers with 1 or 2 digits. And scrolling down, we see the pattern. These 5 after index 0 have names over 2 digits. Then 57 and 81 do not show the bug. Then 110 has the bug and 68 doesn't. It goes on until you're convinced of the connection between name length and bug. Whew. So on to the next flavor of the bug. While Procmon only captures up to 16 bytes of binary, the max for text data is 2048 bytes, or 1024 characters. This is true for all the SZ types. To save time, I'm going straight to the example by Ctrl-L and pasting an address string with the PML file and event number. See how the reg data ends on backtick S? All this reg data is 1024 characters. But it's not the full 8,442 bytes, which sets us up for the buffer overflow if Procmon is looking for more than 1,024 characters. To find this event in Procmon, we open the file, and filter. Remove the other criteria. Now, detail contains 8,442. Here it is. See how the data ends in backtick S and U with a hat. This special U happens to be the only non-ASCII character, so you could reasonably guess it's garbage. In viewer 9, we can see where that U comes from. First, see the backtick ychar? It's 2 bytes. And the S ychar? Now we'll click on the offset 256 to see the raw PML binary. Now here, see the backtick, S, and the U with the hat? Then there is a wide null terminator, which is the only thing stopping Procmon from going the full length. But again, the FB happens to be the start of the next event. Here is the timestamp again. So the second flavor is a simple buffer overrun. And moving along once again to the third flavor of the bug, this one is bizarre. The reg type is regst, and the length is 9, and the reg data is 1 period 9 period, and we see them in the results binary too. Viewer 9 only parses the reg data up to 9 bytes, and 3 extra bytes are just normal padding. But the SZ types of registry data are supposed to be an even number of bytes because they are UTF-16 wide characters. But at the same time, the registry can have an odd byte length because it all boils down to bytes. In this event, the data is not really corrupted, it's just lousy. It looks to me like Mozilla's current version is a 4-character string, 1, period, 9, period, where they stuck a narrow single byte null terminator on it. But that so-called null terminator doesn't matter because the best way to interpret this data is to stop after the 4th character since there is insufficient data for another character. But let's see what Procmon does. Open the file, bring up the filter, specify path is, and grab it from viewer 9. Okay, there are 2 matching events, and we see different garbage characters in both, a clue in itself. The first one is the event we have open in viewer 9. It starts with the 1 period 9 period, and then has 5 more random characters. Back in viewer 9, we can see where it got those characters from. After the 1 period 9 period, there is a Conchi radical and the extended Latin R. We continue looking at where it gets the garbage from by clicking offset 16, which brings us into the raw PML binary. See how that row ends with the R? Then the CJK ideograph, control character, which appears as a box, and an Ethiopic character. I'm guessing it stops there because that's 9 wide characters. Even though length 9 means 9 bytes, not 9 characters, it seems like Procmon is confused by the odd number. Once again, it's a buffer overrun into the next header. So I've illustrated 3 flavors of the bug where garbage is shown on the end of registry data. It's cool to see exactly where that garbage comes from, and to be able to make pretty good guesses about the conditions where it arises. Check out the docs on viewer9.com for more details of other Procmon bugs. A link for the article about this bug is in the description. Thanks for watching.